What's up, everybody? KleverKrok back for week 6 of the GTA Season 5. And today with me I have Monsieur Jasperious.
Oh, bonjour.
Don't. I shouldn't even do
No, oh,
that.
yeah, no.
Yeah, I definitely shouldn't do that. I shouldn't encourage
That's
you.
about all the French I know. I know
Yeah.
baguette. That's about it.
I know bag. Bagel. Alright, anyways. We're just gonna go through the season or the week 5 matches. Goodness, week 5 matches. And so the first one is gonna be the match between the Kentucky Crocodiles and Because I'm Zoo Batman. I'm just gonna say, as the coach of the Crocodiles, this was gonna be a really tough match, and I was not expecting for this to go well. His team is just really well suited to destroy me, and so I tried some really creative things, and I tried my best, but things happened. So I'll go ahead and start the match, and Chase or Jasperious or whatever, you talk about it.
It was a really well played match. There was a lot of really strategic plays at first. And, nothing was really going either direction. He got a couple good hits off on Mew, but I think you had soft boil, so it didn't even really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Really the defining moment of this match was not even really late in the game. It was really early on when we realized that his Nidoking, I think it's probably pretty far into it, like 13 or something.
Yeah.
It's even farther than 13.
Yeah, it's like I hit Hyper Voice on turn 7, and the roll put him at 3%, so the wish would let him live, and turn 8 he took out my Heliolisk.
Yeah, so the Helios going down, Helios was your only way of killing a Lomola, your only way of probably killing Celesteela.
Yeah.
And as soon as he went down, your chances kind of were shot. I'll be honest. Alomamola's got really crappy special defense, and the way he's been running his Celesteela, he's been running a little bit more offensive. So Helios going down was probably the defining moment of this match.
Yeah, I'd say so too, because it's basically like him just going back and forth between Alomomola and Celesteela, bringing in Bisharp to kind of break through what I could, wall off. And eventually I lost Mew from Alakazam, and I got close to taking out Alomomola, but of course, close isn't good enough. And, I brought in, like, not even Kartana could really do anything, and yeah, it was tough, because I did have specs, modest specs, Heliolisk, which was definitely going to destroy both of those guys. I believe it was just a damage roll that I didn't get Nidoking knocked out. But I originally was like, maybe I should run him, speed creep the timid Nidoking and run Scarf just in case he's running Scarf Nidoking. And I was like, no, I really need the specs damage to break through Celesteela and Alomomola. But I was wrong. That happens, I guess. But yeah, so I will say Jellicent, man, it ate hits for a long time, and it did what it needed to, but there's just not much you can do when you can't break through any of his Pokemon.
Yeah, you can be as
So,
bulky as you want, but if you can't do anything about it, then...
yeah. I tried to use Zemi first with my Crocodile to get a speed, to outspeed his Coco and his Alakazam, which would have been cool if Nidoking or even Alomomola were gone, because had I been able to do that, it would have, probably turned things around, because Crocodile destroys everything but Alomomola and Celesteela on his team, especially after that double speed. And then I think the final nail in the coffin was the burn on Crocodile, because there was a small chance when he went for Scald that I could have taken him out with an Earthquake the following turn, even if he went for Protect. So when he burned me, I knew that it was over, because I couldn't do anything else. and then he just slowly deteriorated, Jellicent with Toxic, so it happens, but it was rough to get through, but Dave played really well, and I had a hard matchup, so I did the best with what I had, and things just happened, so it's all good. But we'll go ahead and go on to the next match, which is, in my opinion, one of the better matches of the season, but this week especially, is a match between Antioff and the Septiles. Septiles were previously one of the undefeated teams, beating some of the, from who they've played so far, they've beat people as a newcomer that maybe were not expected of them to beat. But basically they've been playing really well, and they have a really terrifying lineup of so many really strong Pokemon. And Antioff is also a newcomer, but not as familiar with competitive play, and has kind of an interesting team with a lot of bugs and stuff like that. And so it was just a really cool match to see how things played out. What do you think, Chase?
This is actually my favorite match this week, just because of how one move can really, or one play can really make a difference in the entire momentum of the match.
Mm-hmm.
It was a phenomenal match. I was lucky enough to watch the entire match real time, and it was great to see Antioff's team with all 4 of his bug types really come together and be the Bugsy he was meant to be.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. He really used Mamoswine well. I mean, he essentially took out 2.5 of his Pokemon. With that.
With the 1% Mamoswine.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Beedrill really ripped through his team. Empoleon was really good. Scizor really did a lot of damage to Dragalge. I was trying to think of a scenario where he could have gone for something other than Bullet Punch, since he definitely had more speed than Dragalge, but I couldn't think of one. But then, I do think the Septiles played really good, but, it just, he had a lot of things going against him with that priority and speed, and how hard some of Antioff's team hit on his Pokemon. But yeah, I think the Z Rain Dance was pretty cool, and then having Thunder with the Rain Dance up also was a pretty cool idea.
Now, I think
and then Weather Ball as well. I didn't even notice that.
I thought it was cool, but then Empoleon really abused that, because that Scald would have done nowhere close to 50%.
Yeah, that's true.
On the Tornadus. And that just completely stopped Tornadus from doing anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it really benefited him in the long run.
True. Yeah, you gotta be careful when you bring weather to a match, especially in the draft format, because, one thing I really like personally about my Heliolisk is that it can adapt and take advantage of any weather condition except for hail. And, if there's any Pokemon that can take advantage of those things, whether it be an ability or a type advantage, you got to be careful about that. But I will say at the end, what was it? Thunder, no. There was some point where, let's see, he went for U-turn.
Are you looking for the Raikou?
Yeah.
Raikou versus Empoleon. That's about turn 17, turn 18.
Yeah, there we are. So he goes for the Scald. That's fine. The Thunder Miss, had that landed, it still would not have taken out Empoleon. So I think the match still would have ended the way it would have, even then. But, if Donphan took out Empoleon, I think Beedrill would have been able to pick it up. So, but it was a good match on both sides. I'm really proud of both teams because they're both newcomers, and they've both done really well so far. But that's it for that
Yeah.
match. So we'll go ahead and go on to the next one, which is between the Cincinnati Charizards and Feliday. Looking at both teams, I see that, we've got Mawile, which obliterates obliterates the Feliday's team for the most part. Then we've got Cloyster, which is kind of scary, aside from having Fortress. And honestly, Mega Mawile can eat things pretty well too. So, it's kind of a give and take. The only thing here that I'll say is that spamming Volt Switch is an easy thing here because he didn't bring Thunderous. So if that were a possibility for him, I don't know if he was choiced or what, but I think that would have been a good thing to to get out of team preview. But what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with the whole Volt Switch thing. I'd also, if Feliday would have ran a special Nidoqueen set, I feel like the game would have been entirely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Special Nidoqueen really would have taken out Toxapex in 2 hits easily.
It would have destroyed Shiinotic with Sludge Wave or Sludge Bomb.
Which also, if you notice, he was running Earthquake, and that if he was running Sheer Force Life Orb, even as a physical set, it would have done Life Orb damage. So he must have been Black Sludge. So, yeah, if he had been even just Sheer Force Life Orb with a physical set, it still would have been what he needed. I just noticed, though, that he took the time to set up Toxic Spikes with Toxapex in the back. And that was 2 free turns of hazards for Fortress to set up spikes that he didn't have to allow.
Yeah.
And then...
whenever you switch in a poison type on Toxic Spikes, the Toxic Spikes go away.
Mm-hmm.
For future reference for anybody that wants to use Toxic Spikes.
I also think that running Life Orb on Cloyster is kind of dangerous because it has such poor SPDF and it usually gets brought down to its Focus Sash. So obviously you wouldn't have a Focus Sash in the sense of Life Orb, but I think it's a lot better to run it as a Focus Sash set. And I think as a middle ground play, instead of going for Icicle Spear because Hydreigon was in, I would have gone for Rock Blast because it still had a chance to kill, I think, Hydreigon, but it would have done more to Fortress in the end. But regardless, they both played well, but I think that, the Charizards have a really strong lineup, and he took advantage of what Feliday gave him during the match, so... And yes, Shiinotic absorbs everything, it seems.
Yeah. Unless you hit it with a poison move, then it doesn't go down.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, it's funny too because there's some Pokemon like Shiinotic that are kind of slept on. It's like, oh, it's too easy to kill, but yeah, I mean, I think good.
Yeah, well, it might be easy to kill, but if you don't have a poison type move,
yeah,
it's got that 4 times weakness, but other than that, you're not killing it.
So was it Protect that Nidoqueen had instead of a poison move? It looks like it. There's no reason you should have Protect on something like Nidoqueen. If you're gonna run it bulky, let it take hits. You really needed he really needed a poison move for that, and I mean honestly for Mimikyu as well, even though it would have been neutral.
I think AV with Flamethrower, Earth Power, and Sludge Wave probably could have just destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, so just some minor team change things. Whimsicott definitely had a good chance to take out Hydreigon if it wasn't Scarfed, but it seemed like it was, so there's that.
And that's something that the Charizard's probably prepped for.
Sure. Yeah. That makes sense. Strike Sap is just so scary too. Lowering, especially in this scenario, it worked so well because it lowered the attack of a physically offensive or physical attacking Nidoqueen and got all that health back. It was just so stupid. It's so stupid. But that's cool. I really like seeing that kind of stuff work out because I really wanted to. I was really hoping it would work out at some point. Alright, we'll go on to the next match, which is between Richmond Raikous and Maple Grove Gengars. And I don't know how to turn off the sound. So I'm just gonna do it one turn at a time because this HTML file for the replay doesn't have the play with music off option for some reason. So we'll just take it one turn at a time.
Mine has the music off option.
Yeah, I don't know why mine doesn't, but
Is
that's
it not
okay.
like on the right?
It's usually on the right, and it is on these other ones, but it's not on this one for some reason.
Oh, that's silly.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, he brought the same team again. I'm not knocking his team, but I don't think that that's a good idea to bring it every week. Switch it up a little bit, especially if it's the same sets.
Yeah, it's a good team. It's just predictable when it's every week.
Yeah. And I'm still concerned that Cinchino's not being used right. So, starts with Pelipper versus Ambipom. Pretty clear what happens here. Gets a nice scald. What was there anything that stuck out to you in this match when you were playing it?
Scald burns at 125%.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And other than that, he didn't really have a way of beating Zygarde. Unless that Manectric had HP Ice.
I think Swift Swim, Swords Dance, Kabutops with Waterfall would have done plenty if he had kept it alive. But he sets up just kind of like some other guys in the league, like Feliday. I think he tends to set up way too early. And it ends up costing him the match because the things that would late game sweep like he needs aren't there for him to continue. But yeah, he goes for Retaliate with Cinchino, which is not skill link. But go ahead.
Mm-hmm. A Waterfall from the, instead of setting up Swords Dance whenever Arcanine was still in, a Waterfall probably would have just taken out Arcanine.
Yeah.
I don't think I was defensive.
Well, he shouldn't have gone for two. If he had gone for a Swords Dance while you were switching in and then went for one, after that, that still would have, obviously obliterated him. But yeah, going for Stone Edge, I personally, this is just a personal preference, but I think Stone Edge is something that shouldn't be used. I prefer higher accuracy moves where I don't have to worry about that being a problem. Like Rock Slide, probably still would have done plenty after those Swords Dance. And so I would suggest trying to use Swords Dance, Rock Slide if you're going to do that, but otherwise bring Stone Edge if you're not going to use Swords Dance. But that's just my preference.
Yeah. He goes 80% chance to hit in the chat news.
And then it misses. I think he's missed every week he's needed it to land, unfortunately. Although if he's still rocking MZ, he should have definitely used it there. Because that would have hit. But yeah, Retaliate on Cinchino. It's not a bad option, but it's not something that I would suggest using. But yeah, Zygarde just kind of sub-coiled up and destroyed himself, basically.
Yeah, I switched out on Manectric because I wanted to kill him with Ambipom. That's the only reason why I switched out, yeah. I just wanted to show off some fire.
Pro. Alright, well let's go to the next to last match between Sylveons and the Parasects. Same issue here. He's bringing the same team. I think Sneasel actually is new. So
Sneasel is new.
That's good that he's changing it up a little bit. I think he brought it for Zapdos and Lando. So good on him for bringing those because I think that would be really useful in this matchup. I also really think Lando, except for Tangrowth, kind of destroys this team, sadly. But Alolan Marowak also hits so hard. He doesn't have a switch in for that thing at all. Maybe Landorus if it's defensive. But
yeah, you're going to have to sack him on and then bring in Keldeo.
Basically, yeah. So, he's got some good options, and so we'll kind of see what happens here. What do you think about this match?
Uh, you know, Kyron Black probably shouldn't be OU.
I agree. A lot.
I know it doesn't have the move pull to be in Ubers, but it is swole, man.
Yeah, it's kind of OP. I mean, the
'Cause
fact
he
that
ha-
it's assault vest and it still can do what it does, it's just wrong.
yeah, he's got ice speed. He's got focus blast. He's got earth power.
And low kick doesn't do anything, and that's from a
No.
life orb.
Well, reflect was up too.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but still.
So maybe
Earth
a
power,
brick break
oh,
might have worked.
literally just destroying this poor soul. Oh, and it's Ice Beam doing so much.
Finally, a Alolan Muck takes it out with a shadow sneak into poison jab into shadow sneak. But at that point, it's just a little too late.
Yeah, he should have gone for Poison Jab first. That might have already, like, that may have prevented, mock, or I guess it wouldn't have prevented anything. Never
No,
mind.
well,
Yeah,
he would have saved a little bit of health.
Kyurem, but he should have switched in Muck a lot earlier because that's the only specially defensive mon he brought.
Hmm.
I still think he's facing the issue of no special attacker, and I think Assault Vest Tangrowth still is an option that he should consider using. I think those things would make his team a lot more solid, but because I mean Tangrowth, Alolan Muck, and Alolan Marowak are really good. Life Orb Sneasel is pretty decent. Beware is pretty good. Fletchender's okay, but not having a special attacker, I think, is making it really hard for him to break through anything. Especially things like Kyurem Black, Zapdos, and Landorus. So, I can see why it happened the way it did.
So I know that the specific Pokemon isn't a special attacker, but if you were to switch out Fletchender for his Mega Gyarados, he would have a solid Fire Water Grass core.
Yeah, he would.
And he's got the bulk to take care of pretty much anything between Tangrowth and Alolan Muck. If you would just slight team changes.
Yeah, I really think you should consider using Gyarados. I mean, it's really surprising that he hasn't used it even once. But, oh well. So we'll go to the last match, which is between the Charmillionaires and the Wiltshire Wobbuffets. Looking at this match, looking at the teams, I think both teams have some really solid options, but I think Mega Pidgeot does pretty darn well in this matchup. Heatran is the one thing that really stops Pidgeot from doing damage, and then Goodra kind of helps with that, but Mega Pidgeot is pretty scary here. What do you think?
I think Goodra is a really good wall for the majority of his team. The only thing that could really stop it is Excadrill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that maybe the Scolipede could, but normally you don't really run attack with Scolipede.
Yeah, you run him like a lead or something.
Mm-hmm. So Goodra was really good in this match. One of the big parts was when the HP ground happened on Heatran. I assume it's HP ground because that did way too much for just a regular hidden power.
Oh, that's absolutely what that was.
Because that did a massive amount, and then he just lets it go down, I think. He didn't even try to switch out.
I was really surprised by Nihilego bulk. I keep forgetting about its Spadef bulk.
Yeah, that's just another know what Pokemon's stats are.
Yeah.
Because he goes for a special move on Hoopa, too. Hoopa's got like 130 special defense, but it's got 60 defense.
Yeah, I mean, the Psyshock completely obliterated Nihilego. And,
so Drapion had a really good chance of just taking out both of those Mons.
Yeah, I don't know why, maybe it was just part of stalling, But I don't know why Dan was trying to go for sub, because that was just like a free turn of damage from, the Alolan Raichu or whatever. Like, he could have gone for Mega Horn and just got rid of it and not let it, like, do anything to Hoopa even. But he, going for Dark Pulse on the Drapion? No, he switched out. I would have gone for Nasty Plot or something, or brought Pursuit if he gets Pursuit, because that would have been good for taking out the Raichu. But yeah, X-Scissor was cool to see him bring that for the Hoopa. But yeah, I think sometimes people don't realize that Scolipede can still do a lot of damage even if you are using it as a lead or a baton passer. Man, Mega Horn does so much to Honchkrow.
Yeah, I just watched that turn. I was just sitting there after, what could he have done differently in the situation? Could he have protected?
Yeah.
Maybe let Leech Seed take him down?
Fake out on the Alolan Raichu actually works really well. Because, like, with the Leech Seed and stuff, that worked out pretty nicely for him.
I think it's situational. I think it would work better if it was doubles.
Mm-hmm. I also think he needed to bring Synthesis instead of Giga Drain this week. He didn't have anything that he was going to be like doing super effective damage to where it would have been worth bringing. So he should have probably brought Synthesis, because that actually would have allowed him to not get taken out by Excadrill. But just a matter of preference, of course. And he's Scarfed, so I mean he would have had to switch out. But at that point, I guess it wouldn't have mattered because Mega Pidgeot would have taken him out anyways.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Mega Pidgeot's good at that.
Yeah. Good old No Guard Hurricane.
No Guard Stab Hurricane.
Yeah. No Guard Hyper Beam Stab.
There's just some things that we don't need, and that's one of them.
Yeah. Alright, well, that's it for these matches for this week, guys. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all next week. We're going to make sure that we do these each week from now on. We missed a couple weeks, so my bad on that. But be sure to check back next week for the Week 6 recap. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. If y'all enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, and if you want, subscribe for more videos. Hope to see y'all in the future, and thank you for watching.